Russian soldiers set fire to Ukraine's largest nuclear plant as Putin presses savage attacks against civilian targets. Rowdy Nation TV, welcome back to the channel. Do me a favor, guys. Hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel. Also, if you tap that notification bell, you'll be notified every time that I post a video. And then if you share and like the video, that'll help the channel out a lot. All right, we're going to get into this article about the bombing of this nuclear plant. Now, as you know, about 7 or 8 days ago, this war started. It's been more than a little bit over a week since Russia has invaded Ukraine. It's been like 30 years since they were a part of the USSR. I mean, you know, part of the Soviet Union, right? 30 years of democracy, and now President Putin want to bring them back into the fold. I made a video about it. Like I said, I was actually making a video as they started the invasion, right? And when I made that video, I didn't know that they was gonna, you know, start that invasion the same night. So it was really kind of weird, you know, to make that video. And as I was making the video, I could hear bombs dropping in the background on one of the channels that I was watching, right? So we're gonna get into this article, but like I said before, what does this war mean to you? You know, me personally, I think, you know, it might not mean too much, because I asked a lot of people what it means to them, and they say, well, you know, as long as their gas prices don't go up, as long as their 401k don't get, you know, it seems like American people, the people that I've talked to, are not really too concerned about what's going over there in Ukraine. Me personally, I think it's a very serious situation. You know, when you hear about wars and rumors of wars, you get to think about biblical prophecies and stuff like that. But anyway, like I said before, we're going to get into this article. I'm going to read this article to you, right? But, and we're going to get into it. But what I really want to say is, they're talking about America doesn't want boots on the ground. I think we're going to be on the ground. I think we're going to have boots on the ground before the year is out. You know, I don't know military strategy, but they surrounded that city. They're attacking this nuclear plant, right? So pretty soon, they're not going to have any power. You know, there's not going to be electricity. Then next thing you know, they're going to have the water. They're going to turn off the water. Now, they amassed like 190,000 troops on that border about 7 or 8 days ago before they actually went in. They said 90% of Russia's army is now inside Ukraine, right? And they're also hitting civilian targets, right? What happened to the Dunbar region? They said that this was a peacekeeping mission. This is what Putin said, right? This is a peacekeeping mission over in the Dunbar region, where he claimed that some of the Russian people who lived there were being singled out and killed by the Ukrainians, which is a total lie. But let's get into this story, right? Russia's brutal bombardment of Ukraine turned early Friday to Europe's largest nuclear power plant, setting part of it on fire and leading a top government official to issue a harrowing warning of a massive catastrophe. He said if it blows up, it will be 10 times larger than Chernobyl. Ukraine Foreign Minister said that the Russians must immediately cease the fire, allow firefighters to establish a security zone. One of the 6 reactors at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant in southern Ukraine, which is 500 miles from the Chernobyl site in the northern part of the country, was in flames. Firefighters who attempted to fight the blaze were shot at. The scope of the damage was unclear. A spokesman for the plant told the Daily News that the radiation level at the plant was normal, but a government official told the AP that elevated radiation levels had been detected near the plant. The reactor that's on fire is under renovation and not operating at this time, but it still contains nuclear fuel, the AP said. Though the Russian advance on key areas of the northern Ukraine continued to lag on Thursday, as Ukrainians putting up a rigid defense of the 2 largest cities, Kiev and Kharkiv, Russian President Vladimir Putin kept battering his neighbors with bombs and pushed more than 100,000 troops over the border. The Pentagon estimated that about 90% of the troops that Russia amassed around Ukraine last month has now entered the country. Ukraine has benefited from a strong showing by its air defenses, but has still watched its urban civilian areas endure crushing attacks in recent days. And that's the big problem right here, people, that I'm saying. This is why this war right here is going to be so important. We're just seeing the first part of this war, right? This is the first part. It's only been 7 days. And the Americans are already talking about what they're not going to do. I'm telling you right now, that's going to all change. Let this war keep going the way that the Russians are advancing right now. In my eyes, I'm no military genius, right? But these people seen it coming. The Americans had already said for a whole week, don't you remember, like a week or two, that the Russians were amassing all these troops toward Ukraine's border. Then President Biden came out and he told us the exact playbook that the Russians would use to invade Ukraine. And step by step, President Biden told us all these false flags, talking about that, they're killing, Russian civilians that's in Ukraine. That's a false flag, right? So the playbook, we had already knew what was going to happen, right? And so now they're attacking this nuclear power plant. So what does that tell you, right? Just like I said before, they're going to cut the power off. They're going to cut the water off. They're going to try to starve these people to death. Now, do you think that the Americans and the people of the world are going to sit around and watch maybe 1 million people get starved to death or get bombed to death? Because that's what they're doing right now. They're bombing civilian targets. That's a war crime, people. That's a war crime. And I don't know what else to say. Actually, I do. I think we're going to have boots on the ground. I know we're going to have boots on the ground in NATO countries, and they're probably starting that right now. I bet you, as I'm speaking, they're probably getting the equipment ready to go over there and put. Actually, I think they already have sent. I'm sorry, excuse me. They sent like 7,000, 8,000 troops over there to some of those NATO countries, right? But they're not combat troops. I don't think they're combat troops. And they've already said exactly that we're not gonna put boots on the ground in Ukraine. I beg to differ. But anyway, we're gonna keep going on. Like I said before, just bear with me real quick, because this story right here is very interesting. And like I said before, President Vladimir Putin should be accused and charged with war crimes. As building burns and shelling continues in Kiev on Thursday, Russian forces have escalated their attacks on crowded cities in what Ukraine's leader called a blatant campaign of terror. Now, the center of Kharkiv, a city of more than 1 million people, has been decimated by air assaults and Russian troops. You know what I mean? That's crazy, man. I cannot actually believe that we are witnessing this. This is like if we were back in the 1930s and 40s and we witnessed Adolf Hitler invade Poland or something like that. This is just crazy, and I pray for those people. Now, in the south, Russia has squeezed the coastal of the city Mariupol, surrounding it with troops and riddling it with missiles, and the Russian military seems to have seized its first large Ukrainian city, Kherson, also located off the coast of the Black Sea. The U.S. government would not confirm on Thursday that Kherson had fallen, but the Pentagon suggested that the situation in the south was worsening and that the attacks were intensifying in several areas of Ukraine. People, this is something we need to be concerned with. I know a lot of people out there always want to, I know we have a lot of problems here at home. Indeed, we do. And that's why when I get on here, I always tell the people, man, these problems that we have amongst each other, those are trivial problems that we need to get together, man, and try to solve these problems with the people that's living here in America, because a nation divided will fall. And as long as we're divided like we are, that's what President Putin tried to do. He tried to divide the politicians, the Americans, the Democrats and the Republicans. And like I said before, when he took that meeting with President Trump, we don't know what they said, because Trump did not have an interpreter there. Only Vladimir Putin did. There was no American interpreter there when he took that private meeting with Putin, which is unprecedented, right? And this dude is, I don't want to get off into that, but that's unprecedented, right? And now here, maybe a year later, because A year later, Biden's only been in office a year, so maybe after 2 years of taking that meeting, this guy is emboldened enough to just go into Ukraine and just take over this whole country. Like I said before, this is just crazy to me. I cannot believe that we're watching this, witnessing this before our very eyes, right? Now, Putin claimed that the invasion was going according to plan, despite widespread belief in the West that the assault has fallen behind schedule. I'm not sure if it's falling behind schedule myself. I think he's right on time. A lot of people think that he was just supposed to go in there and take the city over, take over a whole country. Did you think that the Ukrainians actually were just gonna lie down? I watch boxing, right? I know Lomachenko. He's a boxer that I watch, and one of the best boxers around. You know what I'm saying? One of the best boxers around. He just lost his belt. He was undisputed, I think. No, he had 3 belts. But anyway, he's from Ukraine. I know that tennis player, that high profile. No, not the tennis player. I'm sorry, not the tennis player. But this UFC fighter, Valenchenko. She's from Ukraine. So a lot of tough, rugged people come from that country. They're not going to lay down. And that's what I also wanted to say. What would you do if one day what did you do yesterday? Right? What are you doing right now? And you go from doing what you do now to having a gun, fighting on the front lines for your country. You know, they wouldn't let men leave from the age from 18 to 60. You couldn't leave the country. Only people younger than that, younger than 18 could leave, and older than 60. If you were a man, you from 18 to 60, you had to stay and fight. You see what I'm saying? What would you do? A lot of people, I was talking to some people right now who feel like they don't want to fight for this country. And that's crazy. If a tank, man, you gonna fight. If a tank gets to rolling down your street, you gonna fight. All those biases that we got towards each other, we need to drop that. But then all that stuff still goes on to this day. There's a war being raged that's going on in this country. And there's a war here in the American streets too. But that war, we need to drop that and focus on what's going on over there, because next thing you know, they could be knocking at our door. And when they knocking at our door, we should be together, not divided, right? So, like I said before, I believe that there's going to be boots on the ground. Like I said, there have already the power plant right now is on fire. Right now, as I speak, that power plant is burning right now. And like I said before, they attacked this apartment building, and I'm gonna try to get you guys this video. I don't know if I can get it, but I'm gonna try to. Right now, as I'm speaking, I just seen that they attacked this apartment building, and there's a video of it. If I can load it up, I'll let you see it. If I can't, I'll put some pictures up on this video. I don't want to put anything too graphic, because then I won't get no views. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, speaking of views, click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get this thing rolling. We can keep this content coming. And leave me a comment and let me know what you think about this, right? How does this affect your life? You know what I'm saying? Do you even care about what's going on over there in Europe? I think you should. It seems like the people over here, these people over here are sheeple. They just follow, like just follow, don't lead. You know what I'm saying? I think we got our heads in the ground on this one right here. But like I said before, when they start sending, if you got anybody in the military and they start sending them boys off, our young brothers and sisters, and they get to going over there, get to fighting for, over there in that country. They saying that they won't do it. Biden saying that he won't do it. I don't know, man. I'm thinking, what if this turns out to be something bigger than what we expected? What if this turns out to be World War III? What would you do? What would you do if this turned out to be World War III? What would you do if this turned out to be everything that your grandmother and your grandfather told you was going to happen when you was a little kid, right? All those fears we had when we were growing up about Russia invading America, nuclear bombs, hiding up under your school desk and all that stuff like that. What if all that stuff comes to fruition? What would you do? We would have to fight, right? We would have to muster up the courage that those Ukrainians have right now, and we would have to fight. That's what we would do. That's what I would do. You know what I'm saying? So we got to stay awake, stay awoke, stay woke. And me personally, I like to see what's going on in the world, in the news around me. The foo too sometimes, because you know I cover that too. I cover the food. That's what I call it, the foo. You know what I'm saying? But we need to, get on this stuff, get on this world level, and acknowledge what's going on around us, our surroundings. Know what's going on in the world. Know how it's gonna affect us, right? Rowdy Nation TV. Click that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so anytime that I drop a video, you can be notified. Share the video. Thanks, guys. I'm out.